He's in it.
I've got to ask that. Are you in a pub? All right, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, if you're new to the channel, please remember to smash that subscribe button and hit like, because believe it or not, it really does make a difference to the channel. We are here for our opening preview of the season. How about it? As we are heading up to Goodison Park to watch Everton take on the mighty Southampton, and we are delighted to be joined this evening by Kieran of the Kieran Rants YouTube channel and TikTok account. How are we doing, Kieran? You well?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Obviously, sort of looking forward to the game, Rafa's first game, and I'm not sure how he's going to set up. Will it be Rafa ball? Will it be boring? I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited, and thank you for letting me on the channel, because I do like what you do here, and yeah, it's good. It's good to be getting on with the Premier League season now, isn't it? Getting back into the groove of things, and yeah.
It's an exciting time, isn't it, as the season kicks off. But I think both clubs, when you look at the surface of it, have gone through massive changes. I mean, obviously, Everton have had a change of management. We've literally, within the last 24 hours of recording this, have lost our front man up front with Danny Ings. So it's going to be a very different looking squad on both sides. But just talk us through a bit about what's gone on at Everton Football Club. I mean, what as Saints fans can we expect as we make the trip up to Goodison Park?
Well, what we had a few seasons ago with obviously Ancelotti. Just don't take that into consideration, because I think it's a totally new system we are playing. Rafa, I think he's going to start 4-2-3-1. It's going to be very it's going to be boring football, because I watched the Florida Cup and I was like, I'm not really inspired by this. And, we'll watch the Man United game on Saturday and we'll see what happens. But, he's not freezing up, but he's, putting James Rodriguez on the transfer list, and you're looking at that team and you're going, there's not too much creativity there. We've got Richarlison, we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he signed Townsend, he signed Amari Gray and Begovic, and those are the only signings we've made so far. So I would expect an Everton team that is quite, I don't want to say flat, but not very we're not going to be on the front foot straight away, I don't think. Because I feel like what team he will put out is not going to be the most inspiring team, and it's a team that wouldn't have gelled too much together. Mm-hmm. So what I'd say about Everton is that we've just gone through a massive change. There's no sort of financial security at Everton at the moment. We can't make any big signings. I think the biggest signing we can make is probably Dwight McNeil, and that is if we do sell either James Rodriguez or Moise Keane. So don't be scared as a Saints fan, or don't get too comfortable, because we do have some quality in that team. Don't want to count with Richarlison, and Rafa does know how to play quite. We've seen the likes of Gabaman actually come through. Obviously, he's been injured for a year and he's looking very strong in pre-season. So there are some positives about Everton at the moment, but there are also some negatives, obviously, with our transfers and everything else like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just bringing in Jack. Jack, welcome also to the show. Good to have you, man. In terms of, I mean, we were just literally doing a live stream earlier today. We were talking about the lineup at Southampton and who we think will actually start at Goodison Park. I mean, do you have an idea of the starting 11 that we'll see, Jack, in terms of the changes that we know about? I mean, there's probably going to be some more changes between now and when the game is actually played. But do you see a strong starting 11 for Southampton on that opening day?
I think we're back to a point where I'm not quite sure what the starting 11 is, and that was our real. That was our big issue for the longest time of who do we start, where we're starting. I think we know who we're starting in the fullbacks. We've only got two of them, so that's easy. That's that done.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, it all depends whether Vestergaard stays or goes. I think when Bednarak gets off of his holidays, that'll be a bit different. But going forward, it's all over the shop. Like, I've no idea what's going to go on. I think obviously Shea's going to start because he's the out and out striker and that's the guy.
Yeah.
And then after that, Ward-Prowse has got an injury, so he's probably going to miss the Everton game. So you can feel free to give away all the free kicks you want. You should be fine.
Yeah.
As judging from the free kicks from the game last night, there's nothing to be worried about. There's no other delivery. Seeing as Bertrand's gone as well, so it's free fall over here. It's anything can happen. I think that's what it's. I don't want to get onto score predictions too quickly, but it's just looking like a big old draw. It's like feel like I feel like Everton have got that good thing of Rafa knows how to play everyone in the league because he's been here and he's done it with Newcastle. And if you can do the stuff he did with Newcastle, he's gonna do good things with what's at the club, at Everton right now. And even if you do play defensive, defensive works better for us because we try to press and push off of people. And if he can just dole that out and just score a couple of goals, we're not going to be in a position to come back, I don't think, especially now Danny's not there. I feel like unless we come up the ground fast and hard, scoring goals straight away, I think it's going to be a hard game for us if Rafa plays Rafa ball.
It's always a tough game to go in Goodison Park. I mean, I haven't got the previous fixtures to hand, but it always seems to be a bit of a tough game regardless of the situation. I think the last game we played against you guys, was it a 1-0 loss or something like that?
Yeah, it was 1-0 on Monday night. I remember that one. Yeah, it's a really boring game, wasn't it?
It was pretty. It was one of those games where it could have gone either way, and unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But tell us a bit about it, because obviously, Rafa signing on as the manager, obviously a bit of a Liverpool legend.
Yeah.
In credit, I think I put this very lightly. Mixed emotions when he signed for you guys, right?
Very mixed.
Has that mellowed in any way? Is it in Rafa we trust, or is it literally everyone going out for him already? What's the mood?
It's very difficult to say, because when it first got announced that Carlo Ancelotti was leaving, basically, a lot of people were very emotional, and I was too, because I just couldn't believe that he left us. It's a bit like, Jack Grealish now, where all the Aston Villa fans are suddenly just turning on him, after they've said so many good things about him. That's sort of what we were like with Carlo, because he said so many good things about Everton, about staying, long-term project, buying us into this idea. We were very emotional when he left. Yeah. And it was a bunch of false promises. And when we got linked to the likes of Nuno, I think many people were not inspired by it. I thought it was a safe appointment, but obviously now he's gone to Tottenham. We were also linked with the likes of, I can't even remember now, but there's some weird managers we were linked to. And I think that Rafa was the best option because he was the most experienced out of them, but obviously divided massive opinions in the camp, because I think a lot of the Everton fans, especially I saw on Twitter, how Twitter is sometimes, but on Twitter especially, they were like, we don't want Rafa. You saw the banners outside the house. I think that those banners, by the way, they are very sort of extreme, because probably like only 2 or 3 16-year-old lads who have gone out and done that. But it was very divided. But now it's sort of settled down. It's settled down after it because, that's how things are. You can't just keep up this hype of constantly hating Rafa when you haven't even seen him play football. So when the Florida Cup came, it was sort of whatever. And we've not really been linked to many people. So when Townsend comes in, when Begovic comes in, at first I'm like, why are we signing them? But no one's really questioning, no one's really questioning Rafa, because it's not really a bad signing, because it's only on a free. It's not like a £40 million Alex Iwobi signing or something like that. But there has been actually some sort of outcry. If James Rodriguez is to leave, I genuinely do think they will turn on him again. Because I think a lot of people at Everton love Rodriguez. I do like James Rodriguez. I really do think he's an amazing player. I think he should stay. And I feel like if he does leave, and there has been quite a few rumours that he might leave, I feel like that's when they're going to turn on him again. But right now, it's quite all right. And if we go into the Saints game and we beat you like 2-0, I think everyone's going to be sort of fine with it. But yeah, at the moment, I feel like there's going to be an event where, whether it's Rodriguez, whether it's us losing the first game, it's going to be an event where people are going to be like, right, Rafa out. And that's sort of the situation we're in right now. That's going to be us till Christmas time. If we are still a bit inconsistent and we have maybe a few dodgy transfers, it's going to be, there's this idea that, I just see Rafa out trending on Twitter one night randomly. And right now, I trust Rafa, from my opinion on it, I trust him. Why I'm not going to hold against, he's came out and said some, quite bad stuff, I assume. So it's calling us a small club. He's came back, obviously went back on those statements in 2019. And I see why people dislike him as Everton fans, but I was only 1 year old, I think, when he was appointed in 2005. So I'm not too bothered about Rafa being obviously an excellent Liverpool manager, because I wasn't really, watching football when I was like 4 years old. But obviously, it's still split opinion. We'll have to see what happens. I just hope the results go right for him. That's the main thing, because we've got quite a good run in. But I won't get into that. But yeah, that's what's going on there.
I think it's a great appointment. And I think if you forget the years at Liverpool, he's it would have been an absolute dream appointment for all Everton fans. I think the other thing that's great for him is the fact that he's proven that he can do it on a budget. So from where you guys are at the moment, it's kind of like ideal. I mean, rolling back to pre-Ralph and when Mark Hughes was on his last legs, we would have jumped at the chance of having Rafa Benitez at Southampton. Whether that would have ever happened, so I don't know. But I think it's a very shrewd bit of business from the Everton board to bring him on side. And but like you say, it's one of those things where he's got 5 games to really make it work. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough ask.
Can I just say with Rafa, I really think if it goes right, it will really go right, and it really will benefit us. Because I honestly see him winning us a trophy if it goes right straight away. And because he's worked on a budget, and not only, he's shown that he can work on a budget in Newcastle, but he's also shown that he can win trophies. He's a winner. He's got that winning mentality in him. And, obviously our signings, Begovic, Townsend, they're not really winners, really. But I think he's going to instill this sort of mentality that Carlo didn't. Carlo was a winner, but I don't think he wanted to instill that mentality at Everton straight away. I don't know why that was, but Carlo just didn't seem to get the players on side of him. But I really do think Rafa can, because you've seen people like Ben Godfrey come out and say we can challenge for Europe when most of the fans are saying, look, we're just going to get the table. So I think he's instilling that mentality, and hopefully it really does benefit us, because it really can go positive. And it was the best appointment out of them all. I think he's better than Nuno, but yeah.
I agree. You generally agree with that, Jack?
Yeah, I think if you look at the players that Ancelotti brought in, but like you said, like all of you, they were all sold on a dream of you're going to build towards this. And if you were to get Nuno in, that would be. I mean, you look at Spurs. As soon as he goes to Spurs, Kane stops showing up at practice. Like, there's that bit of mentality about it. So I personally would have thought I would have been more angry at Ancelotti leaving than I would Rafa coming in, because he was changing stuff down there. There was starting to become a real vibe down at Everton, and then suddenly that's taken away.
You had a great start to the season last season, didn't you?
Oh no, it was so much fun. I think there was quite a few of us that when you're in those honeymoon days of the league starting last season, you're like, oh, I think Everton are going to do some cool stuff this season. And then then stuff happens. Hey, listen, we were top of the table, mate. We know what it's like.
Yeah. We were up there.
Easy to slip away.
You look at those last fixtures and you go, what the hell was he doing? I honestly think he got the call from Real Madrid.
In January.
I'm not saying he rigged his games, but I'm just saying now that he obviously got the call from Real Madrid, and his mentality just went. Like, you look at the last 10 games and you go, Sheffield United, Spurs, even we could have won that game. Brighton, we could have won that game, but he just didn't care. I think, I really do.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. And I think bringing Rafa in, where he has, he's won so much, he's been so successful pretty much everywhere he goes. I think that it must make some of those players feel better. I can't imagine, like you say, if you do sell Rodriguez for some stupid reason, I'd worry about Rich Arlison sort of thinking, well, what are the expectations of this club now and stuff like that. So I think it would be a big mistake to try and if you did sell Rodriguez, I think that would be one of the worst things you could do at this point. If you want to keep stability in the team, seeing as you've just lost the man that's meant to be guiding you on. So, but how is player? Obviously, you don't know personally, but how is player mentality? I mean, do you see Richarlison kicking on this season, or do you see him becoming a bit of a stubborn player, a bit of a Danny Ings, as I like to call them?
I think that Richarlison will kick on because I think he wants to prove his worth as a player. I think that is why I think he's going to kick on. And you've seen that. I think Everton have came out. I'm not sure if they've came out, but there's a lot of reliable sources coming out and saying that he's worth 90 million. We're not going to sell him for anything less than that. And I'm like, has he proved that? No, because you've got the likes of Romelu Lukaku going for 120 million, and I just think that Richarlison will kick on for his own benefit. Now, whether or not he leaves next season, I don't know, because you might get the call from Carlo next year. You might get the call from someone else. If he drops 20 goals this year, he proves his value, and he probably gets snapped up by a big club. And I think the player mentality is probably, if anyone's going to leave, it's going to be Rodriguez or it's going to be Richarlison. It won't be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It won't be really like Jordan Pickford or any of them. It will be one of those two. And we'll have to see with them. We'll have to see how they do this season. If they really do well together, then they might stay. But I just see Richarlison potentially leaving if he doesn't feel like he's part of the group at Everton. You know what I mean? A bit like what happening to Moise Keane right now. He probably doesn't feel a part of the team, and that's the problem you've got. You've got to make sure they're on side, obviously. And I just don't know about Richarlison. It's a bit of a mad one. I think he's doing this for his own personal gain, which is fair enough because that's what every player wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, it's come to that point of the show where we need to put on our incredibly audacious hats on and give out a score prediction for the upcoming game. Jack, let's go to you first.
Right, we don't do draws, so...
I was curious because you did allude to that earlier because that's the only reason I've gone to you first.
Any logical...
No way he's going to do it.
Logically, that's what you say, but I don't... What's the point in that? Where's the fun? Where's the fun in a draw? So in that being said, I'm going to say 2-0 Southampton. Do it! That's right. What that is I want to say 1-0, but I'm going to be ballsy.
Okay. Jack, I do have a question. Where are those goals coming from?
They're both coming from Kyle Walker-Peters.
Okay.
I'd love to know the odds on that.
None of the forwards, my friend. They're going to come from the back.
2 goals of Kyle Walker-Peters.
Set pieces, sprinting down the wing. That's where it's coming from. And when mate, Messi's coming. He just refused that contract, didn't he? So he's coming.
Yeah, of course.
So we got 2-0 from Jack. Kieran, what are we going for?
Well, I've actually gone 2-0 Everton. I think that Townsend's going to start this game. I think that Townsend will score in this game. I don't know why. I just have that feeling. And the other goal will probably come from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He always likes to have a goal, so why not him? And the thing is for me, I just don't see Southampton scoring, and that might get clipped up, but I honestly don't know who your outlet is right now. Like, I know you've got Shea Adams, but especially with Rafa, he's going to secure that defence. His defence is his priority. And I'm not trying to belittle Southampton at all. When you get Ward-Prowse back, if Ward-Prowse is in this game and, you get a striker, I would see you potentially scoring. But I just don't know who that outlet is. I don't know if Shea Adams is ready to sort of become that main striker yet, especially for the first game back. And, I just think we're going to keep a clean sheet. But then again, it's the opening day. Anything can happen. And we'll have to see, won't we?
There we go. So 2-0 from Kieran. I think you bring up an excellent point about the fact that Ward-Prowse is being out because that's part of our holding midfield line and the likes of depending on who starts. I mean, if it comes to a situation where you got Ward-Prowse and Armstrong playing centre mid and then you're working with more attacking players up front, I think you've probably got a situation where maybe we could nick a 1-0 win. So that's what I'm going to go for. A 1-0 win to Southampton with a goal scorer. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the new signing, which we don't know who it is yet. Will get his debut goal.
I love that. I love that optimism.
Do you like that?
I cannot wait for it to be Phil Jones from a header.
That I see that. Jeez, Phil Jones. My God!
It's always worth a laugh, isn't it?
Bittersweet would that be? Opening debut goal.
But imagine how viral this clip's going to go. So,
Jeez, Phil Jones, man. My God.
Man, that would be next level prediction stuff there. So fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Kieran, tell us a bit about the channel and where everyone can find you.
Just Kieran Rants on everything, really. Apart from Twitter, which is Kieran Rants 2. On YouTube, Kieran Rants. I think hopefully by the time this videos came out, we have hit 4K subscribers. We are as recording this, we're on 40 away. So, we're going to be doing watch longs for every Everton game, bar this Southampton game because I'm on holiday. And just come along, Kieran Rants. We do, daily uploads, and that's all you really need to know.
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And thanks ever so much for joining us here on our preview show. And we look forward to the upcoming game. As always, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Go across to Kieran's channel, go and smash that subscribe button as well. And we will see you in the next one. All right, see you.